Party people in the place to be. You are now in the midst of a real MC. Throw your hands in the air if you're real as me. Ooh!
What's going on, brothers and sisters, my good people, my boys and girls from across the world? This is Lloyd Alford, and you're tuned in listening to Lloyd Alford Radio. I'm excited today. We got a special guest, a brother of mine. He's no stranger to me at all. My brother, Rodney Woodard,
yes,
business
sir.
partner, lifetime friend.
Indeed.
All that and the above. Just to kick it off and get a few things started, just a few things y'all might want to know about me, myself, personally. My full name is Justin Lloyd Alford. You're tuned in, like I said, to Lloyd Alford Radio. Raleigh native, born and raised. I'm going to save all of that, though, because I'm going to kind of dialogue and chop it up with my good brother and get you guys in on some things y'all might need to know.
Yes. So, for some of the people that's listening, what could you say exactly is Lloyd Alford? Is it the brand? Who exactly is it? And what would you say that people will be interested by?
Right. Lloyd Alford, I kind of want to say it's not my alter ego, but it's all of my good traits. And I would say and describe it as the Renaissance man, just because I try to be well-rounded in all areas.
Right.
Fitness, health, finances, education, everything, this, that, and the third. Lloyd, ironically, though, is my middle name, coming from my mother's side. Alfred coming from my father's side. Growing up, going through high school, elementary school, middle school, I was very creative. I've always been into the arts,
right.
And also I'm very business minded and very entrepreneurial. Entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. So with those two, I kind of take pride in that, and I've always believed that we hustle and we work for our last names to be remembered, not our first. Right. So with Lloyd Alford, it's just capturing those best qualities and the things that make me who I am.
Yeah, I like that name, Lloyd Alford. Sounds professional. You know?
Definitely, bro.
But how could you categorize exactly what Justin Lloyd Alford does, or
right? Started off, I was just straight an actor. That's probably the first thing I could describe that I am or that I do, because that came from my love for the performing arts and theater arts from the third grade all the way up until graduating high school and all of that. But as time went on, I really have a passion for building brands in business. So I'm a businessman. Jay-Z says I'm a businessman, not a businessman. Right. I try not to box myself in, because with Fly by Nature, we'll get into that a little later, I looked at myself as a designer. But that's not the only job that I have, So just being a businessman is probably how I would categorize what I do. I have a passion for building businesses and building brands, whether that's with my lifelong friends or whether that's with my family or anybody else. That's what I'm into.
Yeah, I want to stay on that a little bit. How did you like doing the designing part? Because I see you mentioned you were designing
with Fly by Nature.
Absolutely.
Right. So that
that's not an easy job.
No, and people don't understand that. I think that we've kind of always been into fashion and designing, from growing up. I really believe that things are in our life and they all come full circle, So a lot of things that we might learn, or skills or things that might be instilled in us when we were younger, they'll come back around full fold 10, 15, 20 years later, and it won't understand until that time. You can't connect the dots looking forward. But so I say that to say, ever since maybe middle school, I kind of really started paying more attention to the fashion. Ever since third grade in acting, though, I always took pride in just being different, being an individual. But starting in middle school, started getting into just the different types of fashion. But it's ironic because it was a forced thing kind of upon me, because my parents, they weren't really into keeping up with all the latest fashionable sneaker trends or streetwear trends. So like having kids our age in like 5th and 6th, 7th grade with the new right, and with the new Jordans and everything. I know I wanted that too, but my parents, in their eyes, it was like, why would I get you these? And then next month they're gonna come out with another pair, and then you're gonna want those. And then
parents think that's just
you know that my parents were old school, bro. Love them to death though, but right though. So with that being said, they still bought me and provided the things I needed, but they were looking at from a smarter point of view, why would I spend 2 times more on a T-shirt for school or for casual wear when I can buy you this dress shirt and you can wear it to school and to church? So
you wanted that polo.
right. So like
had to have that horse.
Right. And so that came with just dressing a little like, you know, more business casual than casual, I guess you could say. Like you had your collared shirts. You always
got them clothes.
Right, yeah. You always going to have some clothes that you can pull out, and whether you have to dress up or dress it down.
Right.
So it actually made sense. But when you're young, 12, 13, you don't want to hear that. You want what everybody else had. But I was going to still find a way to just be different individual.
Got to.
Right. So by the time that started happening and I was buying these types of clothes, I started looking at just different websites and everything and finding different ways to put my
getting inspired.
Getting inspired and finding different ways to put my dress clothes together.
Right.
Mixing them up with like casual, the Chuck Taylors and the loafers and the things like that. So
because everybody can't put that on and walk down the hallway.
Right.
Because you're not good.
Right. And that's actually what kind of led into Fly by Nature. Because you remember when we were in middle school, like 8th grade, we did the fashion show with at Carnage.
Right.
And we kind of were getting into our, like, that's when Kanye had the graduation album. We had the retro fusion Jordans and the bandanas and the shutter shades.
The fusions. They weren't even real, right?
Right. But we had to have them, though.
Yeah.
That was just part of the culture. Fake shoes were part of the culture. Always have been, always will be. So that's that. But, like, we kind of took that on into middle school, going into Southeast.
Yeah.
And that culture at the time, I'm talking like 2009, 2010 at Southeast.
Because
it was Polo.
Very critical.
It was Ralph Lauren. It was Levi's.
It was Lacoste.
It was Sperry's. And if you in New Balances.
Right.
If you didn't have that, then
that was our uniform.
Yeah, it was literally the uniform to the point where
to solidify you to have an opinion.
Even though it should have been like that, that's just how it was in our high school.
Right. And I think that we're just critical of that because that was our high school, but I think on a certain level it's like that with every high school, with something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the root of, or the birth of the brand, because I can specifically remember one day in school, after school actually, and I was hey, you know, you could be listening to music with your headphones in. I tell this story all the time. I gotta tell it though. You're listening to music with your headphones in and nothing's playing, like the song may be over, the conversation might end, but you still have your headphones in.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, it's looking like you're tuned out and you're not tuned in to what's going on because you have your headphones.
Right.
So I'm dressed. This is when I'm kind of finding my own personal style, though. So I'm trying different things. I'm switching it up every now and then, you know, just high schooler stuff. So I walk in and past a group of upperclassmen. I have my headphones in after school. I'm just painting a scene. And when I walk past them, I literally hear them say, like, hey, what this dude got on, man? What little bro got on? And like,
because they wasn't rocking with that,
right? And so when that happened, man, I obviously, and of course, I didn't say anything right then to confront the situation. I just pretended like I didn't hear anything, but it bothered me, and it bothered me so much that I couldn't stop thinking about it after that weekend, going into spring break. I think it was spring break. It bothered me to the point where I'm talking to a good friend of mine, Kentrell, Control Ziegler about it, and I'm telling him, this is the problem right here. This is exactly why people don't want to be themselves or wear what they want to wear, do the things that they want to do on a deeper level, because as soon as they do, there's somebody or people that are making them feel wrong about that. And so it starts on a small level. You might think like it was just clothes, it's just high school. Yeah, right. But that trickles down into, I don't want to sign up for these certain type of classes because
you already know who in there.
Right. And people aren't interested in what I'm interested in. So I'm going to sign up for the classes that other people do. And then that trickles into.
I never thought about that.
Right. And then it gets deeper. After high school, I want to go here, but everybody's going to this college. So I'm going to go to this college like everybody else. That goes into everybody's taking this major. That goes into this, that, and the third. So next thing you know, you'll be living a life that's not even really yours.
Right.
So clothes are just the smallest scale of that. It starts with that. It starts with the confidence of wanting to dress like yourself and be yourself.
It's important.
Right. So I was thinking in my head, the problem that I had with that situation at school, after school, was that I was just literally doing me and organically doing me. It wasn't no one that I was trying to be like when I got dressed that morning.
Right.
But these guys are making me feel wrong for that when I'm really right for that. And that's the problem right there. And I'm saying, who are they to tell me that I'm not fly?
Right.
Because I wouldn't tell them that they're not fly because they're just doing them. I don't know the vision that God painted for them and created for them. Only they do. So with that being said, I'm saying when you're being yourself, when you're truly being who you're supposed to be, you're being fly within your own nature.
Right.
It's in your nature. So I'm playing with those words that weekend. Fly, nature. And it hits me. Fly by nature. And from the problem of being picked on and joked on was the birth of the brand that's been going from 2009, 10 to today. A lot of people don't know that story. A lot of people do, but that's why I feel so passionate about.
Do you remember?
What?
Tell
me, man.
Do you remember the outfit it was?
That's a great question, bro.
Do you know?
And you know what? Looking back on it, I might have actually been looking crazy, to be completely.
You said you was just starting.
Yeah, but that comes with it though. I had to find myself like everybody else does, But
so you don't remember that? You don't remember that fit?
I don't remember that fit, bro.
It's all good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Back then though, we were wearing a lot of loafers. We were wearing a lot of Chuck Taylors.
A lot of
We were
Chucks.
wearing rolling up our pants, no socks, Chuck Taylors. It was things that just weren't seen, especially at our high school. We were wearing shirt and tie, tucking the pants in the jeans, skinny tie. We were big on fit, the way things fit. It was like a lot of vintage
Skinny tie
styles.
was crazy.
Right.
With the tie clip.
With the tie clip, the pocket handkerchiefs.
That's still a good thing.
All of that. And if you remember when we first started, people were assuming
The
that
handkerchief went crazy too.
the handkerchiefs went crazy. People were assuming that Fly by Nature was a group. They were just thinking that because it was the group of friends that we were hanging out with, that was Fly by Nature. And on one hand, they were right, but on the other hand, it was so much bigger than just us. I think once because it's, started very, very clicked up though, because, you're with your best friends, y'all do everything together. So it was us at the beginning, but then it went into taking pictures during lunch. Then it went into other schools learning about it, because we were in high school at a really good time on the rise of social media. When we started high school, Instagram, Snapchat, they didn't exist. When we ended it, they did. So that's a great time. Facebook was booming, but other schools started to get wind of what we were doing at Southeast, and that was great. So eventually it became like a whole movement, and we were associating with people that didn't even go to our school, but they understood the vision. They understood the message.
That makes sense though, because when people ask you about your brand and how Fly by Nature started, I think it'll grab them once they hear that story, because the title of it came from actual events,
Right.
and it's not just a gimmick name,
Right. And
and
they always tell me, like, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, find a problem and find a solution. When you recognize a problem, the solution is the business.
Right.
So,
Speaking of the business, I know, cut you off.
no, go ahead, bro.
How do you think that led to the entrepreneurial side of it? Once you found your style, now it's like, now I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I know it looks good. When did the entrepreneurial aspect take over?
Like, we got to make this into a business, like a brand. So that's a good question. At first, and it's so great because we really started from a real ground level as far as resources and knowledge. We didn't have much of anything to start with, and then we didn't know much of anything. So from there, we can only improve. That's the great thing. When we were starting, we were taking pictures. We were just having our own personal style. We had no resources to make any type of clothes. We didn't know that's what we even wanted to do. It was just that this was more of a statement and a reply to the people that made fun of people for wearing what they wanted to wear. That's all we were doing at first. But as it started to gain momentum, as other people at other schools were starting to know about it, as middle schoolers, rising high schoolers were starting to know about it and wanting to now become a part of FBN because of what they have seen on Facebook and stuff. When that trickled into the middle schools, I was like, wow, this is at this point, it's bigger than me. At this point, we have to do this in a way that people can it's tangible. It's something that people can hold on to.
Right.
So
how did you actually start to make money? Because, everyone can call themselves an entrepreneur. I do this, I do that. But how did you begin to actually make it a lucrative thing and monetize what you were doing?
Shirts, bro. I tell this
to start with the shirts.
Right. I tell this to anybody that's thinking about going and starting a clothing brand, getting into that type of wave. T-shirts are the easiest thing, to the point now where there's a difference between a T-shirt line and an actual clothing brand. The interesting thing about the T-shirts, though, is that we still had no idea how to do anything. I had no idea about screen printing, vinyl, embroidery, direct to garment, no idea about any of this. So started off YouTube, Google, figuring out how to make shirts on the basic level. And to be honest, we were making every single shirt that we produced.
Right.
Starting out, I would literally go to Walmart. It's just crazy. I would go to Walmart, find the transfer paper, get the paper, take it home. Well, let me rewind. I would draw. When you remember all those times that me, you, and Luck would hang out and we would be on the game.
You'd be me and Luck would be playing the game, and you'll be in your little corner drawing with your arts and crafts.
Right. Like, no matter where we were at, whose house we were at, I would be.
That sketchbook.
Right. I had the sketch, and it was just the dedication. It was the hunger and the excitement of starting something new. No matter where we were at, I would always bring that sketchbook, and I would draw ideas, draw them with a pencil, draw them with ink, then color them all by hand. Then go to Walmart, buy the transfer paper, bring it back home, put the transfer paper in the computer instead of the regular computer paper, scan my design that I drew onto the computer, clean it up, print it out on that paper, cut it out, put the shirt on the ironing board, put the transfer cutout onto the shirt, and iron it on.
I didn't know you were doing all that. All of that went into them shirts?
I swear. I promise you, bro.
Good gracious.
I promise you, bro. So literally, though, one shirt would take and then think about it. At beginning of high school, we weren't driving. So if I could get to Walmart that day, I'm lucky. So one shirt.
I felt like all I saw you do was go to Walmart, get it, and then we saw the shirt.
Yeah. That's the illusion right there.
You was putting all that.
That's the
into
illusion right there. And so it's like, but I loved it, though. It didn't feel like work because it was mine.
Right.
You see, it was ours. It was something that we're building. I always believe that if you're doing something you love, you don't really truly have to ever work a day in your life, you know? So like that was all like a day, maybe a day and a half process for one shirt.
Yeah.
And we were trying to bump it up to the point where when we're leaving high school, we're doing events, I might have had to make like 50 shirts.
Right.
Same way. I didn't realize that's like transfer iron-on is like probably one of the lowest type of quality shirts you can make because of it being so affordable. So people's shirts weren't lasting them no more than 2 weeks. After one wash, it was already fading and everything. But
Yeah, people used to come to school and be like, yo, my shirt messed up already, or whatever. You're going to buy another one.
Or like, just being young and not having to get into that business mindset. I would take people's pre-order money and buy.
I mean, but people buy stuff at the mall. They complain about that too. So
right,
you can't get the love without the complaints.
Right, and I didn't have a job. We didn't have the money to go and buy the shirts in the first place. So I'd have to tell people, give me your money up front. They give me their money up front. They caught me on the wrong day, though. That's cookout money for the gang.
What?
So it's like...
Right. God bless all of you.
And like, the next day or a week later, they come and asking you and Luck and Charles, have y'all seen Justin? I need my shirt.
Right.
Like,
you going to get your shirt.
Yeah, but just being young and trying to do business.
Trial
those are
and error.
Right, things that we had to learn, everybody got their shirt. Just putting that out there, I think. I hope. If you don't, I love you. But
yeah,
so
that's a good descriptive way of telling people who might need to know those things because they're trying to just start something and they might not know how to. Because you can promote stuff all day long,
right?
But at the end of the day, you gotta figure out a way to sell it.
It's the art of the sell. We weren't really looking to make money as much as we were looking to inspire others. That's why the motto for Fly by Nature, what we go by, is celebrate yourself. That's the most simplest way that we can put it into terms that anybody can relate to and that anybody can understand. So when people were buying these shirts, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like I was trying to make these shirts and nobody was paying attention or things like that. Back then,
it wasn't forced either.
Right.
Somebody saw that shirt. This Justin shirt.
In 2009 and 2010, it wasn't a lot of clothing brands in Raleigh. It wasn't a lot of because, like I said, social media was still just really starting to hit.
Social and the media.
Right. You were right.
On foot.
Right. So like we really were outside, like especially the early stages of the brand.
Because when you were starting yours, I only know maybe two, but really one that comes to my mind that was doing it at that very moment.
Like Backstabbers.
Okay, so
Backstabbers and Fly Mouche,
yeah.
right, and it's straight homage. It's probably some other brands and stuff that, of course, were started in Raleigh. But I'm saying when we were in high school,
our network of people,
exactly. So looking at that, everything was new. It was like a new wave. It was exciting for people to be a part and to show support. And so even though the shirts weren't the best quality, I felt like people were still buying because they believed in the message. They believed in the movement. They believed in what the shirts represented and what we represented. So, and that's just another point in building business. Whenever you're building something, if your why is powerful enough, then it'll take you as far as you need to go. Right. Whether that be as far as you need to go to find new resources to keep building and to make it better. But if you have a good enough message and a reason that you're doing something, then people will get behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I would want to ask, what is some short-term and long-term goals for, FBN, because, you can have short-term and you can have long-term. So what would be a short-term goal that you have right offhand right now that you would want to do?
Right. Okay. So straight to it. I want to hopefully the world is opening back up. I know we have to be careful with everything that's going on, but I say that to say I want to get back into the community. I want to get back into speaking to the youth.
Right.
I've spoken at a few events, speaking engagements at some schools like colleges, community schools, elementary schools, middle schools.
Right.
Because the kids that's the future. If they don't believe in FBN, then it's dead. Honestly though,
yeah,
right? Even think about
the kids
music.
Is running things.
Think
right
about
now.
Music. All the older artists that are like older hip hop artists, they know they have to network with these younger artists coming up
if they want to continue
to remain relevant. And so that's a goal of mine. Another goal is to get back, like I'm saying, with the world opening up, get back in the pop-up shops.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, pop-up shops is just a simple find a location, set up the thing you have to offer, whether it be goods, services.
Like at colleges and stuff.
Right, exactly. So that kind of ties into what I was saying about impacting HBCUs.
Right.
I want to go on an HBCU tour, bro, to be honest, and hit all the HBCUs with enough merchandise that anybody that wants some from any school will be have the chance to receive some,
Right.
So get back into pop-up shops simply because I'm not really just trying to sell people and make money. It's about cultivating experiences. I like being direct with my customer base and the people that believe in me. So
That's a good one.
right, and it's truthful. Being behind the computer screen and having a website and looking at your numbers is great, but it's nothing as great as those direct hand-to-hand sales. Me having a conversation with somebody that saw this and got inspired and wanted to buy it or do something like it. Another quick short-term goal. I want to have another fashion show. Hopefully within the next year or so. I got some things in the work for that. Our last show, real official show, was in 2013, senior year of high school, graduating, and that was great.
Yes.
We still talk about it to this day, but instead
great show.
Right, instead of thinking about the past, let's create some more long-term goals. Just to have Fly by Nature as a household name to the point where it doesn't matter how people feel about me. It's so much in your face that you have to respect it. I'm sure that everybody that Ralph Lauren ever met or came in contact with didn't just love him, but at the end of the day, they knew his name.
With all of that, it sounds like it's just, it can just be busy. You can get caught up in that, and some things are time consuming because it's easier said than done.
Yeah, bro.
So I would say, like, a lot during your busiest times, what would you say a typical day would be like for you when you're like maybe fulfilling orders? You gotta ship out in that mode when you just gotta get stuff out.
Yeah, definitely. Things always whenever the gear gets to my hands that we design, it's a different type of energy. Like it's just a different type of energy because I know then the grind is going to be very different because I also take pride in the marketing and advertising that we do is along with the type of products that we put out. So it's not good enough for me to just take a picture of a shirt and then just post it and say, here's this for sale. Like, it has to have a story behind it. We have to do a commercial if we can, like a mini film. We have to do an interview. We have to really cultivate and let people feel like they're getting a whole experience. So when I touch the gear, I go into marketing and advertising mode.
Immediately.
When I don't have the gear, I try to keep myself busy, which isn't really hard because from juggling with school and
more designs.
Right, more designs and just marketing and advertising.
Research.
Right. It's always something that could be done. It's never really a dull time. If you're saying that you're bored in this game, then you're not doing it the way you're supposed to because there's always a way to improve yourself. I do a lot of reading. I work out. I enjoy spending time with friends and family and fellowship just because with this sometimes it's really easy to become an introvert and get so caught up in my own mind and my ideas that I don't prioritize and make the time for the things that make it worth it.
Right.
But in reality, what my father pointed out to me before was that life is only about relationships. Think about it. You only want to make money and be successful 9 times out of 10 to take care of the people that you most care about and to take care of yourself, of course, but it's for relationships, whether you're children, whether you're family, whether your legacy and your lifeline. The reason why you're doing the things that you're doing today, it's about relationships.
Yeah.
So a typical day with me is just finding a way to improve my body, my mind, and my finances every day and still prioritizing the relationships that are meaningful to me.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, bro. And with that being said, I think the people kind of got an idea on who I am, what I'm about, what I represent. And I'm excited to see where we're going to go from here. I appreciate you coming down, too, and chopping it up, bro.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here, We support the brand always.
Definitely.